What's up, folks? I'm Odd, by the way. As you can see, we are on my kind of typical random animal generator website that I've used for my hybrids in the past. However, this is also a Pokemon day, so we are going to be making a series of Fakemon based off of a random animal and a random type. So, yes, my idea here being just that, I thought that it would be interesting to do that, and this time I'm not going to roll both types. I think I'm going to try and let the animal itself decide one of the types. So this is almost sort of like the Pokemon body type challenge, but I mean, obviously there are more animals here. So I'll be curious to see what we get from these. And obviously this was the first one, but we will not be using that one, however cute a pig would be. So let's just get right into it. And a boop. Chamois? A chamois? What is this creature? Okay. I have never seen chamois. I know in terms of like the cleaning product, like the rag, I want to say, is that chamois? I think that's chamois with an E, right? And then everyone calls them chamois. But okay, I've never heard of this creature. Maybe its wool was used to make the towels at one point. It looks like a antelope of some kind, so I doubt it. But let's figure out your type. And it's going to be fire, water, fire, water, water. Definitely water. Okay, interesting. And I think we're going to be doing 3 because that's my usual anyway. So we will continue and roll our next creature. A giraffe. Alright, so wait, the only creature that I think we have so far that is a giraffe is Girafarig, right? So this should be interesting. I mean, we obviously don't have a chamois either. But that should be fun to try and figure out. We'll have to see what its type is. Roll your type. What is this giraffe going to be? If it's a dark type, I'm going to laugh. It's not. Or psychic type. Is it psychic? It's psychic type. That Girafarig is. Just about the most nonsense type for this Pokemon to be. We have flying type giraffe. Alright, you heard the people. You are less lying. And for our final selection, we have a boop. A Highland cow. Ooh, yes. Interesting. Okay, what is our Highland cow going to be? I forgot to grab that, but that's okay. I'll get it in a second. Dragon, dark, fairy. Fairy? Ooh, fairy might be fun. Oh, that makes perfect sense. Okay, let me get you one fairy type island cow. This one makes the most sense to me because they are quite whimsical. I'm getting cottagecore. All right, and hold on. Let me adjust myself here. And bring you guys down over to clips so I can show you what we're working with. Okay, over on clip, we can see our selections that we have for today. I have no clue what a chamois is and where it comes from. Let's do a little bit of research before we get into that, but I have an idea. Native to southern Europe, it says? The species of goat antelope. Chamois. Oh, this is a different beastie than the one that they showed. Interesting. You can't see this. Hold on. This guy. Look at this guy. I can only assume there are multiple. But okay, because it is a goat, then my thought process was correct, I think. So I was thinking something akin to Capricorn kind of creature. Right? The Capricorn is kind of a goatfish. In this case, it would make sense. Now, the giraffe plus flying, no clue. Absolutely none. Giraffasis? A giraffe Pegasus? It would be extremely nonsense. Maybe this would also be like a fairy type, but I'm imagining some sort of like spooky cloudland creature that is just nonsense because, ow. Of all of the creatures that I could not imagine flying. Like, give me a horse. Sure. Give me a zebra even. You know, I can slap wings on that bad boy, but a giraffe? It would just be so top heavy. It would just right into the ground. But okay, and the Highland cow plus fairy makes perfect sense to me, honestly. Again, so whimsical, so cottagecore cotton candy-esque little creature. So I think that that will be fun to design, but I will deliberate a little bit more. I will see you there. First up, we have the water-type chamois. I was pretty set on having a Capricorn-style creature, maybe leaning more toward the fish side, but I did decide this would probably be a water-ground type, just because of the duality Capricorn is supposed to emphasize. The main thing for me was getting the right pose. I wound up with something almost heraldic that I really liked here. Instead of splitting the design down the middle, I did decide to make this Pokemon more sea creature-like in the front. I think this specific goat actually really suits the design, especially because of their very fish hook-like horns. Like the last time, I made shinies for each of these, although they are all just flats this time around and smaller. For this one, I went for more of a night sky / deep sea sort of vibe, making it look all the more like a sea monster there. I decided to call this Mon Capricious, sort of a multifunctional portmanteau of Capricorn, Capricious, and fish. Capricious is a creature of duality. It lives in brackish waters between fresh water and the sea, and also lives between the sea and the land. In earlier decades, it was often mistaken for a sea monster, and it is known to still attempt to ram boats in its territory. It's unpredictable and brazen, and it takes a very firm and strong trainer to work with its nature. It holds a special connection to the stars. Next up, we have our curveball of the week, the flying type giraffe. I did kind of brainstorm this with my brother, actually, because initially my only thought was like a really goofy looking Pegasus. He recommended a giraffe so tall that its head was poking back down out of the clouds, and that just counted it as a flying type. While I was trying to sketch something like that out, I thought it would be more fun to have the whole giraffe made out of clouds and upside down, so its neck served the same purpose as a regular giraffe's, just in the opposite direction. Since this Pokemon is essentially part cloud, I made them a flying water type. 2 water types in this roster, but they are also all ungulates, which I didn't initially realize. They're all cloven hooved, too. Wild that I got all 3 of the same kind of animal in a row. For the shiny here, I went with the Stormy version because that felt obvious, as the footage begins to clearly show that I futzed with the color way longer. But my first thought was Sunset. I do think that this Pokemon could change based off of the sky color, so I wanted to keep that option open outside of the shiny. I named this Fakemon Cumulupard. It is a combination between Cumulus and Camelopardalis, which was the species name for giraffes before they were broken up into different species. I just love that giraffes were essentially called spotted camels. Like, there's so much more to them than that. That is what you decided to go for, not the most physically glaring difference they have from other ungulates. It may be one of the Pokemon that can't be renamed their own name without triggering the censorship system, but we don't need to worry about that. Cumulupard is about 80% water vapor, making it extremely light and cloud-like. Its body has adapted to blend in perfectly with the sky, and it is often seen upside down, telescoping its long neck toward the land below to reach the tops of trees for leaves. Survivalists sometimes look at Cumulupard's distance from the ground and color to gauge the weather. And finally, we have the Fairy Highland Cow. This one made the most sense to me. Initially, I was going to go in with a very sort of cotton candy vibe, but then as I was sketching, I remembered a creature I'd made almost incidentally while testing out my coloring pages around Christmas, the Grass Cow. I kind of failed in the initial attempt that I made because I also tried to color in Microsoft Paint for the first time in like a decade, so, and it just didn't turn out how I wanted. And I thought, here's where I redeem myself. Fairy grass cow. I made the fur into grass and added a little flower crown and a flower tail, along with braiding the front little ruff/beard situation we have going on. And now we have the most adorable druid-looking grass cow ever. For the shiny, I went red, kind of resembling the ginger color of the original, but still a bit cooler to really get that whimsy. Some decorative grasses are also the shade of red. This is Whimsicow. I don't think I need to explain the portmanteau here. Whimsicow is a majestic denizen of nature. They typically live in deep, shady forests that other fairy types thrive in. They aren't as mischievous in nature, though very large, they're gentle giants. They're known for their healing abilities, and the herbaceous grass that covers their bodies has been a regular remedy in local cultures for generations. Some humans raise them, shearing their grass in spring and nomadically following them through their migration cycle. They stay lush even in drought and seem to bring life wherever they go. But those are my Fakemon for this week. I really like how these turned out. I'm pretty stuck between favorites here. Whimsicow is adorable, of course, but Cumulipard made me laugh like every time I looked at them, and I really like how the concept came out there. Capricious is pretty far up there too. I might play around with more of the Zodiac as Fakemon in the future. Let me know what you think and which of these is your favorite, along with maybe any other art challenges you'd like to see me do in the future. At that though, I'll leave this here and I'll see y'all next time.